There's a war going on every morning, quiet, invisible, and almost always lost. It starts the moment your alarm goes off. You hesitate. Maybe you snooze. You check your phone, emails, messages, a scroll here, a scroll there. You promise you'll just take 5 minutes, but suddenly, you're already late. And realizing it, you've handed over the steering wheel of your entire day to whatever hit you first. It's not about the phone. It's not about time. It's about control. And every morning you let the outside world dictate your first hour. You're quietly training your brain to live in reaction, not intention. If you're done starting your days on autopilot, this is your call to subscribe. See, it's not just that your morning feels rushed. It's that, deep down, you're starting to forget what it's like to feel grounded before you move. And you're not lazy. You're just caught in a loop that was never designed for clarity, only urgency. But here's the hard truth. If you don't own your first hour, you don't own your day. And if you keep losing your days, eventually, you lose your life. The first hour of your day isn't just a routine. It's a declaration. It tells the world who's in charge, your principles, or your patterns. And the truth is, most people don't even realize they've given that power away. Not in a dramatic, obvious way, but slowly, quietly, in tiny compromises that feel harmless in the moment. You wake up and reach for your phone before you reach for your thoughts. You answer everyone else before you check in with yourself. And you call it normal, even though it leaves you feeling scattered, behind, and strangely disconnected from who you are. But here's the shift. The first hour is not about productivity. It's about permission. Permission to be still, to lead your thoughts before they lead you, to choose direction before distraction chooses it for you. You are not losing control of your life because you're weak. You're losing it because you keep letting the outside world enter before your inner world is even awake. The first hour is where leadership begins, not with results, but with rhythm, not with action, but with intention. Because until you command your first hour, you'll always feel like your life is commanding you. Stephen Covey didn't talk about mornings as just a productivity hack. He spoke of them as the foundation of personal leadership. Because leadership, in his words, always starts from the inside out. Covey taught that the most effective people begin with the end in mind. But what happens when you don't begin at all? What happens when you wake up every day reacting to everything except your own mission? He warned us, when urgency governs our mornings, importance disappears from our lives. And without realizing it, you become efficient at surviving, but completely disconnected from meaning. That's why the first hour is more than a time slot. It's a test of alignment between who you say you are and how you begin your day. Do your first actions reflect your deepest values? Or are they just echoes of urgency and habit? Covey reminds us that we are not a product of our circumstances, but of our decisions. And the decision to begin your day on purpose, before the world demands anything from you, is one of the most powerful you'll ever make. Because if you don't intentionally choose what matters first, you will unconsciously follow what matters least. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's really been hour, intention, or impulse? Let's bring this down to earth. You don't need a new routine. You need a new agreement with yourself. One that begins the moment you wake up. Here's the first shift. Stop letting the morning be accidental. Before you even open your eyes fully, decide to be there. Not online, not elsewhere, just present. As your alarm rings, don't reach for your phone. Reach for yourself. Take one deep breath. Place your hand on your chest and ask quietly, who do I want to be before the world tells me who to be? Then move, intentionally. You don't need a 10-step miracle morning. You need a 10-minute moment of truth. You could write down 3 intentions in a notebook that stays by your bed. Stand in silence near a window and visualize the kind of energy you want to bring into the day. Repeat a single phrase out loud. I lead my day. It doesn't lead me. Read one page of something that brings you inward instead of something that pulls you outward. This is how you reclaim the first hour, not by controlling every second, but by choosing the spirit behind your actions. The rest will follow, because when your first hour belongs to you, the rest of your day starts to remember who you really are. Take a moment, not to plan, not to fix, just to notice. How do your days actually begin? Not the version you tell people, the real one. Is it peaceful or pressured? Is it aligned or automatic? Be honest. Are you choosing your mornings or just repeating them? Maybe you've convinced yourself you're not a morning person. But what if that story is just protecting you from the truth? That you've been running from stillness? Because stillness forces you to face the parts of yourself that are easy to ignore in noise. Look back on your last 7 mornings. Not with guilt, with curiosity. Did you protect that first hour? Or did you spend it reacting, comparing, scrolling, rushing? Sometimes we don't lose control all at once. We lose it 5 minutes at a time. And by the time we notice, the day is no longer ours. But here's the grace in all of this. You don't need to feel bad. You just need to wake up on the inside. If this part of the video feels like a mirror, pause, breathe, and if it felt like something inside you nodded yes, click like. Not for me, for you. As a quiet promise to pay attention tomorrow. There's a difference between someone who manages time and someone who leads themselves. When you begin your day with intention, something changes. Not just your to-do list, your posture, your voice, your energy. You become the kind of person who doesn't need to chase control because you carry clarity. You stop through your mornings like they don't matter. You start treating them like a ritual, a return, a reminder of who you are when no one is watching, of what you value when demanded of you, of where you're headed when distractions go quiet. This isn't about routines. It's about identity. And every time you claim that first hour, you reinforce the truth. I'm not here to react. I'm here to choose. You begin to embody calm, not just crave it. You lead your thoughts instead of letting them hijack your direction. And little by little, the gap between who you are and who you want to be begins to close. Not because your life got easier, but because you got clearer. And in that clarity, you don't just take your time back, you take your power back. Some mornings don't start with noise. They start with forgetting. You forget who you are before the world asked you to prove something. You forget that your life isn't made in to-do lists. It's made in the silence before the list begins. But every single day, you're given a new chance, a new hour, a new moment to begin from center, not from chaos. And maybe today is the first time you noticed. Maybe today you don't rush. You don't scroll. You don't disappear into the algorithm. You just sit, breathe, and remember that the most powerful thing you can do is lead yourself before anyone else has the chance to direct your day. So reclaim your hour, reclaim your rhythm, reclaim your role, not just in the morning, but in your life. You were never meant to be led by urgency. You were meant to move from purpose. And if this video reminded you of that, if something in your chest softened or woke up, I invite you to subscribe, not for content, but for continuation of this choice, of this rhythm, of this becoming. The world can wait a moment longer. This time choose you.